my god, there's 5 people here. Who's doing the intro? It's a haul video.
We all do it. Hello. Look for
Popcorn
my name right there. This is me.
That's not a name. That's 2 letters.
Nope, wrong way.
Hey, if Prince cannot have a name, then I can have 2 letters.
He didn't not have a name. It was a symbol that was a legally changed symbol, and then he had to, and he was the artist formerly known as Prince.
So I can have 2 letters. That's what I'm getting at.
It's not a symbol.
Fucking Dan only has 3 letters. That's 1 more than I have.
It's still a name.
No, it isn't.
Oh, yeah.
Mine has the last initial.
Once again, a name.
I'm sorry I can't go by just initials. You know, like anyone named DJ.
What are we doing?
Arguing about letters.
Today's letter. What was the letter when we went to that store in the mall?
It was C for criminal scum and also cookies.
Okay, so a bunch of us went to Keystone Comic-Con 2019 in Philadelphia at the Pennsylvania Convention Center or whatever. And we bought some things, we did some things, and
It'll never be the same.
as we just spent a minute explaining, you can see our names in the corners. How about, do you guys have any kind of like general reactions on the con? And then if you did anything which didn't include purchasing physical items. Whoever wants to go first.
I thought the con was all right. I think what I ended up buying between, like, because Wizard World Philly happens at the same time, like around the same time Keystone is, like what, a month apart, really.
Something like that.
So they're kind of always compared against each other. It's weird that Keystone like opens up all the double doors on the con floor when it's clearly a smaller con, but they're able to get more writers and artists to come for signings because Wizard World always falls under, like, I think Baltimore during Baltimore Comic Con, which drags more people in, or maybe it fell over Heroes Con this year. But it's weird to have so much space, but it like just looks emptier, and it definitely is emptier. It's not as many people, but like I feel like the vendors for me were about the same. I know you guys kind of have differing opinions on that, but overall, I thought it was another fun con. I think this is the second year of Keystone, and we went last year, and I think it's been a success the last 2 years, at least for me.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of in the same boat with Mike on that. I mean, this was actually my first Keystone Con. I couldn't go last year. But yeah, it was really fun. I mean, you know, there's a lot of stuff that I was able to pick up, and a little bit surprising, like Mike said, because it was a little bit smaller than Wizard World is. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty solid con.
Yeah, same.
In terms of experience, I think the people like hyping up Keystone make it feel like a bigger deal than Wizard World, where like Wizard World is just kind of like, all right, here it is, it's open, while Keystone's much more in your face about what's going on.
True.
But I dig.
Yeah, I think they're both good cons. I think Mike brought it up a little bit, but they kind of offer a little like different kind of experiences almost. You know, like we said, Keystone's in its second year, so it's still relatively small, even though it's taking place in a large convention center. So it feels more open and like there's less stuff there, but I think realistically it's just mostly less people. But I think there are like a few more vendors and stuff at say Wizard World, but they're both good cons.
I mean, this one did have live wrestling.
This one did indeed have live wrestling that you guys watched while I learned from Vince about, I don't know, single issues or something.
I mean, yeah, Dan and I went and watched one match and from House of Hardcore, and I can discern that it was indeed a wrestling match.
That's the start.
Dan, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say this was like my first Keystone, and I gotta say I actually enjoyed this a lot more than Wizard World. I guess it's probably the atmosphere, and I probably did a lot more things at this con than at Wizard World. So I was walking around, meeting a bunch of cosplayers. I also stumbled upon the Smash game competition at the Files booth.
Fun.
Yeah, that was
I-
kind of cool that they had like a gaming area or whatever. I didn't go over to it at all, but that's pretty cool. I did one of those when I went to PAX East a few years ago, which is obviously a video game convention, so like they're gonna have that there. But it's kind of fun to just like take an hour and just like goof off on some team game with whoever you're with.
Did anyone venture? I guess this is mostly for Dan T, because we all stuck together all day. But did you venture past like the game areas where there's tables? I saw like there was like something opened up with like a stage or something. What was in?
Stage.
I think
You
it
didn't
had a
go
sign
past
that
it,
said like I think it said main stage, but it definitely wasn't where panels were
Yeah.
happening. So I
I'm
don't know.
guessing that's what they had Tom Holland at.
It was just a panel room for a bunch of like big guests. Tom Holland was
Okay.
one of them for Sunday.
All right, because I was like, I kept, like you could see the crack of it when you were like walking. I was like, what is that in there? Because that room definitely was not opened up for Wizard World. At least I didn't see it was.
Wait, you're saying you can see the crack?
Yes, I mean, we all saw the crack.
Wait, so Han was there Sunday?
Only
Yeah.
Sunday.
So when was he at D23? Was that Saturday?
That
He was,
weekend,
he was
Saturday.
at D23 the day before Keystone.
Okay.
And then after that, he took a flight immediately to Philly for Keystone.
Busy man.
That had to be one awkward weekend.
That poor guy.
lose your job. Go talk to a bunch of fans that want to know when you're gonna get your job back.
Well, he didn't lose his job. I think the current story is that he's going to keep being Spider-Man, just not in the MCU.
You don't know anything.
He's just not an Avenger anymore.
Thank God. So speaking of being busy, a bunch of us bought some shit. Actually, how about first? A few of us did some trolling around Artist Alley and stuff. So I don't, because some of those are less haul type things.
What do you mean by trolling around Artist Alley? Because if you're saying like knocking down Jim Chung's like display, that's the only trolling that we did, and that was all you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't blame Han.
You
Don't-
did try and ruin his career.
Unsuccessfully. So what did you guys get signed and who did you talk to and shit like that?
I talked to Denny O'Neil. Oh wait, I didn't because he wasn't there.
Well, yeah, he had to drop out unexpectedly. The man's 80 years old, so I hope it was nothing health related. It was a bummer that he wasn't there, but
It really.
I hope it was nothing serious, and hopefully maybe we get to see him again down the line.
Same.
Yeah, I did not bring anything for him, so didn't mess me up too bad.
Yeah,
As
I brought one thing for O'Neill to sign, but it was also for Dennis Cowan to sign, which was question number 2, which I found a week before in a 50-cent bin at Boston Comic Con. So
Hey,
all in all,
Ginger Dan,
for me.
you know what book that's in? Question Volume 1, which you don't own.
Yeah, you want to rub it in? Because I know where yours is. I'll steal it.
Oh, it's
I won't
padlocked.
see that.
No, it isn't. I was there.
so
There's a deadbolt on that book.
most of us checked in with Dennis Cowan. I got my issue of Hardware #1 signed, a milestone book. I also got my custom bind of Deathlock signed. But I forgot what I really should have brought, honestly, more than Deathlock, is my custom bind of S.H.I.E.L.D, which I think is the better book, which is almost entirely drawn by Dennis Cowan, whereas he only draws like half the run of Deathlock. And
Wait, you bought a custom bound book that he only draws half of for him to sign?
no. He draws almost all that book, but it's only half the run, so it's a 2-volume set.
Ah, okay.
And S.H.I.E.L.D, written by Christopher Priest, I got to sign it like a month and a half ago. So really should have brought that. And this is one of my volumes where it's straight up has their names on the spine, so it's not like it was hiding from me or anything. And shitty to say, it's not like I could ever get the two main signatures on Deathlock, and because that's way up. Rest in peace. What did everyone else do at Artist Alley?
Same with me on Talon. I got question number 17 signed, which that's the famous Rorschach sucks issue. So that's fun to have.
Dan, did you do anything at Artist Alley? I don't think so.
I didn't, but the other Dan
He
did.
hung out behind us while we were talking to Dennis Callan.
Yeah, I had to hold people's shit like a mule.
So
I will say we got to talk to him about the upcoming question book, and he sounds super enthusiastic about it, and it sounds awesome.
Oh, actually, the only thing that I did in Artist Alley is I saw, was it Dim Chung's?
Yeah, with Jim Chung.
I saw a print of an Iron Man piece that he did, and I'm like, that is really awesome, but probably super overpriced.
It was probably a couple $1,000.
Yeah, for original art, that's probably really ridiculous.
you should have brought your Teen Tony issue.
Oh, I really should have.
It would have been pretty cool to see his reaction.
I will say though, like both Callan and Jim Chung were pretty cool to talk to. Jim Chung is like really soft spoken, but it was really cool to look at pages of the Year of the Villain one shot that he just drew, and like the original pages were there. So I don't think I've ever seen like a book that recent's original pages in person.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. You think? I mean, it's hard to say because a lot of creators nowadays they have like, I don't know how to describe it. There's like art dealers and agencies and stuff, and with the internet, a lot of them are way more organized. And so you think a high-profile project like that, and Chung is a pretty high-profile creator, you think that those pages would have sold like in a week.
We got to find out his favorite characters to draw in Justice League are Aquaman and Martian Manhunter.
The picks. Do we have any other Artist Alley notes? No? Okay.
Other than Dennis Callan's question book with Lemire's, we know it's 4 issues, and it's all taking place in different time periods, and it should be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're going to attempt to go through our hauls popcorn style. So let's do it this way. Show off a few of your things. I'll start us off, and then say the word popcorn, and then just does it probably make sense to go clockwise?
See, the point of popcorn is that you don't go in an order.
Right. That's the whole point of popcorn.
Okay.
Do they not teach you that?
You scream at popcorn, you just
Do you usually say the person's name because they?
No. Yeah, you go like popcorn to Vince.
Okay, because if we do it random, that's gonna be a mess.
You can make it really confusing and say popcorn Dan, and then the three of us have to figure out which one you're referencing.
We rock paper scissors at that point.
Okay.
Let's make a pretty star. We can do that with the setup.
I'm gonna start us off with. I have a bunch of single issues, and I have them sort of organized, and I'll try and organize them more after I popcorn. So there's going to be lots of popcorn because I've got them in chunks. So first,
I'm getting comfortable here.
I found a bunch of Chaos comics in some dollar bins, I think, and I pulled a bunch of them. Or no, it was like $2 bin or something. And I pulled a bunch of them out and then put a bunch of them back. But I ended up getting Evil Ernie 1/2, and it's one of those Wizard issues, so probably a decent find for the price. And Evil Ernie, Baddest Battles That Never Happened, which is basically like his version of Punisher Kills the Marvel Universe. But he also has a one-shot where he kills rip-off versions of actual characters. So I'm going to popcorn to Dan.
Which Dan?
I hate you.
God damn it.
He said, all right, be specific. So if he doesn't specify, it's McNamara.
Okay. Also, my name is Dan on the thing itself.
Yeah.
So I'll go through this first stack I have here really quickly. I've also picked up a lot of single issues. I am on a really crazy run now to try to collect all of the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 stuff. So I was able to get a bunch of single issues from there. I'll just show them off real quick. So you got number 2 with Taserface, 4 with Firelord and Charlie 27. You got 6, which is I think the last issue from the Quest for the Shield arc from the first Guardians volume. 7, you got Malevolence, Mephisto's daughter, I believe. 12, you got Firelord getting destroyed by Overkill, which is the cyborg version of Taserface. So 90s.
But not over the character from Spawn.
No, not that one. This one you have Starhawk, a really cool cover there of him. He's an asshole. 24, you got Silver Surfer with the gauntlets. That's kind of cool. 27, this looks like one of those like 25th anniversary covers, but it's not because you have like all the heads around like the main thing there, but it's just, yeah, Talon. 28, more Talon, like that. Almost done. 32, Captain Universe Badoon. That's kind of cool. Captain Universe. 33, Aletta, who we actually saw in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Definitely did not look like this, which is kind of disappointing, but whatever. 34, kind of cool. 36, Mamu. 50. There was 2 versions of these at the con. This one has like a it's like raised, like I don't know, like the characters are like raised a little bit on the page, and it's kind of like it is a foil cover. So pick this one up for $1. And last one here, 51. So lit. Those are all my Guardians issues. So I'll popcorn it to. Let's see, who wants to go next? Anybody go?
It's not how popcorn works, Dan. You pick
Not
some.
popcorn works. You gotta choose.
All right, popcorn, Junior Dan.
Okay. I will also go over the single issues I bought. It's just they're slightly easier too because I bought sets. First up, we have Dr. Fate by DeMatteis and Giffen. It's the 4-issue miniseries from, I want to say, like 87? Yeah, 87. This later leads into an ongoing, I believe, so the eventual plan is to get those issues as well and bind this all up into a custom edition. Moving on from that, we have a slightly thicker set, which is The Ray Volume 2, with this very fun, fancy foil cover. Ooh.
Such a cool costume.
Oh, yeah, no, this cover is actually dope. I really love it, despite how critical of the 90s I'm being right now. But as you can see, it's labeled as The Ray 1 to 28, but also, as you can see, this is the annual, so this also contains issue 0 and the one annual it had, so this is all of Ray Volume 2, which was exciting because I didn't think I was getting the annual and issue 0. That's really nice. This is also going to become probably 2 books for a custom bind. And just to take up a little bit more time, let's go with this fun $5 trade I found. The Illustrated Adventures of Robin Hood, because Robin Hood's cool, and that's the entire reason I bought this. It's all black and white. And as I told Vince very mysteriously, it was made by Malibu. So yeah, this isn't part of the Ultraverse, but it's adjacent maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Popcorn, Mike.
Okay. Well, I got the only other single issue I picked up at the entire con was actually from Vince in preparation to try to get Dennis O'Neil to sign it, but he didn't show up. It's the facsimile edition of Batman 232, which is the first appearance of Ra's al Ghul, which, thank you, Vince, for picking that up. The problem is it doesn't have Dennis O'Neill's signature on it, so now I'm stuck with this stupid facsimile edition. So goes life. Popcorn to Dan T.
Okay. So my entire haul consists of mostly all single issues. So I'll make this quick. So I got mostly sets of Captain America, Fantastic Four, and X-Men. I got about issues 403 to 409 of Del Falco's Fantastic Four. Strange Days. Then I got a bunch of X. I'm still sorting these out. Then I got the first collector's issue item of Cable, Future Destiny. It's a shiny cover.
Shiny as always.
So got Iron Man number 187.
What made you get that one?
Thought it looked pretty cool.
Okay.
Covers are what gets me the most. Plus, I got all these at buy 20 get 20 free bin.
Oh, cool.
So I thought it was a good deal.
Mhm.
I got number 3 of Mark Wolfman's The New Teen Titans.
Nice.
50th issue of The Blackest Night Green Lantern Parallax Rebirth. Chuck Dixon's Nightwing number 4. Young Justice number 55.
I think that might be the last issue.
Issues 12 and 15 of Reign of Superman. $124 Batman Legends of the Dark Knight. Batman Gotham Knights number 8. And last but not least, bunch of issues of Classic Captain America. And I don't know why, but for some reason I decided to pick up
I didn't see what that was. What was it?
It's
I
from
don't know what it is.
Toronto.
Yeah, I've never seen that before, so I don't know what it is.
it's Steve Rogers Captain America number 2, part of the
Okay.
Secret Empire.
Gotcha.
It might not be as bad a story as everyone says it is.
Daredevil's number 248 and 251.
That's Bullets
All right.
from the one. It's cool underrated Daredevil villain.
And that's about it.
All right. Kind of blew your load. All right, who are you gonna popcorn to?
I'll popcorn it to you, Vince.
All right.
No.
So I've got a small chunk. These are kind of the miscellaneous category. I've got 2 issues of Rachel Pollack's Doom Patrol. Let me put it all up on my face so you can see me real close.
I want to see your face.
An issue of the 90s Showcase series. I think this is a Travis Charest cover. Pretty 90s looking. But
That's
I'm gonna
the most 90s thing I've ever seen.
cut out like 8 pages of it for this character named Sparks. He's like a very tangential Superboy related character.
Wait a minute, Vince. I have a question for you.
Yes.
I swear I saw you cut up that issue in the apartment once.
No, yeah, I think I did. So I'm pretty sure I did it for the Atom,
Right, you did it for the Adam part.
Well,
I
here,
remember you asking me at like 3:30 in the morning, "Hey Mike, do you want this 4-page Robin story from 1994?" And I was like, "No."
well, here, I'm pretty sure. Let's see why I did this. Okay, so why did I do this? Okay, I'm not sure why I did this. Probably because I threw it out and then later decided to do this other book. Because sometimes what the danger is with these showcase Marvel Comics Presents type issues is that you'll have the end of one story on one side of a page and the beginning of another story on the same page. And so if you're doing books that require both stories, then you need duplicates. Unless you want to scan stuff and print stuff, which that's complicated. I'd rather just pay another $1. And then I've got Teen Titans number 79. This is like a terrible, terrible run of Teen Titans, like way past Jeff Johns. But it you see Statics on the team at this point. And this is part of an arc featuring the milestone villain Holocaust. And this is at the point where the milestone universe was like pretty much integrated with DC before Flashpoint, and it just didn't last very long. And then Flashpoint happened, and they tried to do it again, but it was really only Static, and it got canceled because it was the worst book in the line. So whatever. That'll be in like that'll be in like a miscellaneous milestone crossovers book if I even make it. Whatever. I'm gonna popcorn to Dan.
All right. So next pile of single issues here is all Iron Man. So I'll go through these very quickly, and then we'll keep going on with the podcast. I guess before I get started on these, a lot of 70s Iron Man issues I was able to hunt down here at the con, which is great because that's the era that is getting trickier and trickier to find. Those issues are obviously more expensive because they're older, but yeah, we'll go through them here. So we get Iron Man 70, early appearance of Ultimo. I mean, obviously he appeared before this, but just some of those appearances. We got the Mind Dragon and Firebrand, and I don't know if that's the Mandarin or not. It doesn't look like him, but yeah, that's kind of cool. You got everyone's favorite villain, the Red Ghost, and the Blood Brothers. Or no. Oh no, his Super Apes. I'm sorry, I get them mixed up. Yeah, so that's that. Not a lot of good issues from this era. Night of the Walking Bomb. Who the hell is that? Nobody here knows. I don't even remember, to be honest. The Freak, which I'm assuming is Happy Hogan still, since that's his alter ego when he gets turned into a monster. Here we go. Got the Blood Brothers here. 88. So still before issue 100 at this point. Another issue, 89. More Blood Brothers stuff. Not really much to write home about. 91, the Controller. One of my favorite early Iron Man villains. He's very underrated, but for reasons probably because he's really cheesy. Doesn't appear in any Marvel movies. Here you got the Melter again, another really cheesy Iron Man villain that I kind of like. So really cool to see him in this one. This is 92. 109. I remember this issue. Iron Man goes to space and fights against these two communists. Dark Star and the Vanguard. I think one of them has like a hammer and a sickle as his weapon. So can't get more Russian than that.
No, you can get more Russian than that. What happened in Uncanny X-Men? The proletariat.
That definitely does take the cake. I think I have that issue. That's really funny. Freaking. Colossus. This is a really cool issue from McElhaney and Layton's run. It's the prelude to Monaco. You get an appearance of Scott Lang in here as well, so kind of cool. Titanium Man, issue 135. Titanium Man's a really cool Iron Man villain. 136, the beginning of Endotherm. Does anyone know that Marvel villain? Probably not.
No.
Exactly. 163, getting to Denny O'Neil's run. You have the Chessman. So in this one, you have, the Knight facing off against.
I thought Iron Man villains couldn't get worse. And then you show this.
I was gonna say, like, Iron Man is like, he has some of the worst villains.
He does, but like the overarching villains, all these little minor villains, are really good. Like this guy, it works for Stain, which brings me to my last issue here until I'll pass it over, which is probably one of my favorite covers. Is Obadiah Stane clutching Iron Man in his hands with the really crazy eyes staring at him in Iron Man 167. So, yeah, I was able to track down a lot of stuff that I really needed. So, up to, I think, 73% now in terms of issues for Iron Man Volume 1.
And how much by weight have you read?
I don't know. I don't do weights of a single issue.
Then why even calculate weight at all?
I'll have to do that at some point, too. So, I'll popcorn it to Mike now.
Oh boy.
Actually, here, I want to cut in with an interlude. Dan, just as I realized you did kind of do all your issues at once. It's totally up to you, but if you want to bounce, that's your call.
Yeah, well, I got to work early in the morning, so yeah, I'm getting bounced.
All right.
Alright.
Thanks for joining.
Thanks for joining us.
It was nice to see you all. See ya.
See ya. Take care. All right. I'm gonna tackle my Batman chunk because I got 3 Batman related things. I picked up, these were all like all the stuff I got was like in a $5 bin. I got the Batman Sword of Azrael, just the collected miniseries, so I don't have to buy Azrael Volume 1 now. So I can just stick this on my shelf right before Nightfall. It's got that great Joe Quesada art. I actually like Joe Quesada's art in this. It's pretty good. I reviewed this book back when I did Cowcast all the way back. So if you want to see my deeper thoughts on that story, check out that review. That's down there. The next 2 books I got are Detective Comics from Rebirth, Volume 3, League of Shadows, and Volume 4, Deus Ex Machina, which I've been slowly collecting this series. I grabbed the first 2 on like an Amazon order from like a Christmas present. And this is in the James Tynion run, which I like. Like there's elements I like about it. I think he has really good voices for the Bat family. I thought Volume 2, which was the story about kind of the people that were maimed by villains, I think it was called the Victim Syndicate. I thought that could have been a lot cooler and a lot better done. But I liked his ideas that he took and like made Clayface a good guy. And this was kind of just like he made Detective Comics like a Batman team-up book with a much more emphasis on characters such as Batwoman, and Cassandra Cain was on the team. Batwing's on the team. I think Azrael shows up at some point as well. I know in Volume 4 is with Zatanna, and I know back when that was coming out, people had positive things to say about it. So I'm excited to tackle these at some point. And then Volume 3 is all about tackling Ra's al Ghul. So this should be pretty fun. Plus, the art in these is pretty good too. So I'll popcorn to Ginger Dan.
All right, I'm going to continue with my Indie Stack O collected editions. Next up, we have more shiny covers. Seems to be a theme today. This is Letter 44 from Oni Press. It is written by Charles Soule and drawn by Raphael Albuquerque, I believe. I don't remember where, but I think I read the first issue of this, and I thought it was a really interesting concept. Basically, this person gets elected to president of the United States and thinks he's just going to have a normal presidency, but he finds out that like 7-ish years prior, something like that. Some space mission made contact with alien life, and so now he kind of has to deal with that after the other president just retired basically because he's not the president anymore. So I'm looking forward to reading these. I think there's only 6 trades total, but now I have 2 of them. Art's pretty good in it, like I said. Raphael Albuquerque. Here's a very random page that I flipped to. It looks like someone is getting his head smashed into a urinal, so good times all around.
It's my favorite way to spend a Friday night.
I know it is, Mike. I remember. Ugh. Next up, we have a larger stack of indie books. Let me just take the one out. Manhattan Projects from Hickman and Pitara. At the con, I picked up 2, 4, 5, and 6, so now I'm only missing 3 because I had the first trade lying around. Really cool series. I've read the first issue when I was over at Mike's place one time, and super excited to read through all these, so I'm going to have to be on the lookout for volume 3. Hopefully be able to find that soon.
You ended up taking those, right? Because I didn't want them anymore.
Yeah. No, I took them and gave them to Marissa because that's what you wanted me to do with it.
Right, we cleaned out all my back issues.
Yep. And I guess I'll go ahead and finish off the indie books I got. Last up is Thief of Thieves, volumes 1 through 3. This is from, if I can remember, Kirkman and Diggle, or that's just the third one. Never mind. Jesus Christ, I probably should have looked at these more. Looks like there's different artists. If you can see that. There's a lot of different names sometimes. Or no, maybe just different guest writers. That would make more sense. Martin Burrow. Yeah. Either way, I only found out about this series relatively recently from what I can guess by literally reading the title. It is about a thief who steals from other thieves. But I think it's much more interesting than that. I read the little back page synopsis the day I got these and have since forgotten because it's been quite a week. But I think it's going to be an interesting concept. I kind of like getting into these more like crime themed indie books. But with that, I'm going to take a bit of a rest and popcorn it off to, if I can see my choices, Dan.
Why do you need to see the choices? It's not like more people have joined.
Hey, you never know.
Yeah, we could have some random person. Okay, so I'm gonna go through about like half my stack here. I don't want to go through it all because it's gonna be a lot of talking. But so the rest of my stuff is trades. Most of it was DC and Marvel. I have one Image book in here, but that's pretty much it. So the first book we have here is Crisis on Infinite Earths. Got this for $15. I think it's a pretty good deal, and I will be saving this to read when we do our Crisis cast. So I probably won't be reading this for the next few years. So
now, and then reread it. You trust me, you'll be doing yourself a favor.
What, by saving it?
No, by reading it now.
By reading it now.
Maybe reread it every week. I don't know. Whatever you want.
Yeah, I'll have to look into it. It looks really good though.
In my opinion, the greatest comics crossover of all time.
Oh, I'll just show some art here. Just opened up to this page.
Yeah, good old famous covers.
That's when it starts getting really good.
Good old Yolanda Montez Wildcat.
So I'm excited for that. Really, really cool stuff to have now for DC for sure. Next book here, Mike pointed this out to me, so I bought it. Daredevil, parts of a hole, which is filling in a hole that I have in Daredevil. This is the gap between Kevin Smith and Joe Quesada's Guardian Daredevil. And the beginning of Bendis's run. So,
well, the beginning of the first Bendis run, because after this they did Wake Up, which is Bendis's first arc, and then Bob Gale came in.
Oh, okay.
And that was never really collected.
That's right.
Until now with those Marvel Knights trades that came out. But so But then Bendis came back as the full-time writers. They were kind of like figuring out who was going to take over once Mac was done. But yeah,
Yeah, that's right, because there was a gap in the first complete collection of like numbering for the issues, so that's probably where his stuff was in. But yeah, really cool. So I'll probably just go back and reread this because I've already read Guardian Devil and all of Bendis and Brubaker, so we'll be probably going backwards in time, but that's fine. Let's see. Next book here, what's over here, is Deadshot Beginnings. I'm pretty sure a few of us, if not,
that was the book of the day.
it really was half off. So $7 for this.
A book
Yeah.
that is slowly going out of print.
Definitely. So that's probably why all of us jumped on it. This
But
will go next.
I think the reason all of us jumped on it is because Mike, for the past month, has been like, "Oh, this book's going out of print. You guys should all get it."
Yeah, it was a very slow.
That's the other thing is when we went to Wizard World, that's what I bought. I bought that at Atomic Comics that night for full price.
Yeah, you did.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Little
But
did you know.
I'm not recommending trash to you. It's really good.
Oh yeah, no, I'm excited to read it. I believe it's going to be good. I just find it funny that you've been doing that for a month.
I appreciate that you don't recommend trash to us, Mike.
Why would I recommend that to you?
I don't know. I'm just looking through right now, but just kind of showing that this will go nicely with the Suicide Squad, John Ostrander stuff I'm trying to get.
Yep.
Dan, who draws it?
Oh, Luke McDonnell. Same guy who did Suicide Squad, and also was the artist for Denny O'Neil's Iron Man run.
Yeah, that's why I pointed it out.
I'm excited. I love his art. Really nice. Next book I got here, I'll do another two, and I'll pass it off after this one. We got Elektra by W. Hayden Blackman. This is the second volume of his run. I had the first one. Yeah, just picking it up. I've heard it's pretty good, so we'll see how it goes.
You ever read his Darth Vader stuff?
From what, Dark Horse?
Yes.
I
He also wrote Force Unleashed.
No, I haven't. It's probably in the epics or going to be in the
His
epics.
Darth Vader stuff is pretty good. You'd like it.
Yeah, well, I feel like anything with Darth Vader I probably would like. So, next book we got here is we were talking about it before we came online here. This is Green Arrow: The Archer's Quest by Brad Meltzer.
Great book.
So yeah, Ginger Dan was instrumental in persuading me to buy this.
I found it free for $5.
Yeah, I mean
That's what you mean by instrumental.
Yes. Well, it's funny because before I bought this version, there was the hardcover for half off, and we're like, I don't know if I should get that. And then we walk over to this one, and we find it for $5. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm picking this up.
I have that hardcover, and it's so awkward because it's a deluxe edition, but it's not very thick, so it's just this awkwardly large book that I have sitting on the shelf.
Yeah. I believe I also have the paperback.
Yeah, so this is really nice. I just got to get Kevin Smith's run, maybe some other stuff. But, I mean, just flipping through this, the art just looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Phil Hester is a fantastic artist, especially during his tenure on Green Arrow.
I might say this, bit of a hot take. I want to know what Vince thinks. I think Phil Hester, I would put Phil Hester as my favorite Green Arrow artist. So, I don't know.
I was thinking about that a month or two ago, and I think I would probably have to agree. But I think part of that is because he draws in a style similar to Justice League Unlimited, where it's kind of cartoony and you almost have a Bruce Timm style to it.
But it's
I think for me
for a DC comic book though.
Yeah, that, and I think for me that was I think JLU was my first exposure to Green Arrow and superheroes in general. So being able to see more of that is really nice.
Yeah, I mean, I personally agree. I would understand people who would argue for Grell, Ed Hannigan, Neil Adams, but
who are all great.
That's the thing. It's those are all good choices. I'm
also pretty sure Dan Jurgens drew something in there, or maybe he was just inking at the time. It's been a while since I read through that, but I remember seeing his name pop up. I think.
I mean, I do prefer the classic Green Arrow suit over the Grill one. Not to say the Grill one's bad. I love the Grill one too, but I prefer classic Ollie.
And then you have, I mean, then you'd have modern. Your modern options are basically Andrea Sorrentino and Otto Schmidt.
I like the Otto Schmidt suit a lot better than the Sorrentino suit.
There's also Ferreira or something. I can never pronounce his name right.
Pretty good.
This is kind of going on a Green Arrow suit tangent. His suit during right before New 52, when he was like, when Star City got a giant evergreen forest, his suit during that wasn't bad.
Yeah. I forget who drew that. I think he was an Italian artist or something like that. The art in that short run was actually pretty good too. And then like a dark horse option, if you're like an 80s guy, would be Trevor Von Eden from the Mike Barr miniseries. But enough about Green Arrow. Who's Popcorn?
I'll popcorn to Vince.
Okay. You guys are going really fast because I'm segmenting mine up a ton.
I mean, we've already gone 45 minutes.
So my next section, some more back issues, fronted by Detective Comics number 500. Big anniversary issue. It's a wraparound cover. I don't feel like taking it out. And the reason I got this is for this guy in the corner, Hawkman. And so then I got Justice League of America 118, which is part of a Hawkman related arc. Then I got several issues of World's Finest Comics, which all had a Hawkman feature in them. And some of these I got for like $3 an issue, which definitely adds up. But you know, these are like, I think these are like still in the 70s. So, I mean, for $3 actually a decent deal for books of this age and everything. And I mean, you can see how old it is because the World's Finest are $1, and that's supposed to be a high price because this was one of those, like DC had, you can see in the corner, DC had this concept called the dollar comic, and so there are more pages for $1. And that's it for that. Now I'm going to popcorn again.
$99.
What?
And now single issues cost $3.99.
Yeah. I'm going to popcorn to Mike.
Okay. I'll go through this chunk here. So we stumbled upon just like this random like this is kind of like on the outskirts of the show floor where we got this. It was like a guy who had like maybe 3 bong boxes full of old trades, and it was like what, 3 for $25, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I grabbed. Let's see. These are all out of order, so I'll put them in order now.
I'm not even certain I know what vendor you're talking about. I may have missed that.
You weren't there when I bought these. You were looking at something else. You I know wasn't there. So I have almost all of Matt Fraser, Mark Waid's Captain America run from the 90s. But these are the old Marvel Premiere hardcovers. So I have To Serve and Protect, American Nightmare, and then Red Glare. So all of these like have a cover price of like Red Glare has a cover price of $30 for some reason.
That's crazy.
And the other 2 are $25 each. So I got all 3 of these for the price of 1 for $25. So I thought that was a pretty good deal. There's one more book after this, and then that leads into Jurgen's run, and then there's an epic collection I got a snag that's all this stuff before this. But I'm excited to read this run because I've heard good things. I know it got an omnibus, but that omni's kind of hard to find now. So we'll see where that leads, where that goes on my quest to finding all this. But I'm looking forward to it because I like Mark Waid and I like Captain America, and should be a good marriage.
Matt Fraction, Captain America, almost just gave me a stroke.
Do you think Matt Fraction Captain America would be better or worse than Thor?
Probably better. Probably way better. I don't know. That's a discussion for a different day. Who's your popcorn target?
Popcorn back to Vince.
Ooh, I mean, it's kind of strategic considering the pace I'm going at. So the next set is a bunch of Sleepwalker issues. Let me really focus in so you can see the glory. I actually really like this cover. I was like looking at it just now. I have to hold everything like slightly diagonal to avoid as much glare. But this is a Brett Blevins cover, and I actually really like it. I might stash it for future Cool Cover Friday use, though I have something.
No one knows what that is. No one knows what that is.
Well, no one knows what this is. And some more. Actually, quite a bit of Sleepwalker. Another obscure 90s Big Two book. Perfect. Oh, and
Sleepwalker is cool. I like Sleepwalker.
Here's another shiny cover. Another run, prime target for custom binding, but it's like 34 issues. So maybe not a prime target. And then this set ends with the holiday special. It got a holiday special. I don't know why it's not called an annual or what. And guess who drew this cover? Can you? I mean, obviously it's in a bag and board diagonal. Do you guys recognize the style remotely?
No.
This is a Joe Quesada Sleepwalker.
Oh God,
Pretty badass.
I can recognize the lack of style.
Jeez.
Whoa! Wait, hold up. Wait, do you have a problem with Joe Quesada's art?
No, I actually don't. I actually kind of like his art.
I was gonna say, like, I know you like his Iron Man, and I
Yeah,
know you like his Daredevil.
yeah. I'm
Well,
just joshing.
does he draw a single bit of Iron Man? Maybe like the half issue for Wizard.
I
or
think
something?
he does.
He covers too, right?
Sean Chen does the covers and the interiors. I think.
I've seen him draw Iron Man on like variant covers throughout the years.
Oh yeah.
I will figure that out while I popcorn to Ginger Dan.
Okay, give me 1 second. Someone's calling me for some reason. Oh, it's my dad.
Oh, put him on the air.
Hang up.
No. I'll just call him back in a few minutes after I go through this.
I'll be right back on a podcast.
No, he probably wouldn't even know what that is.
Pod what?
We have Hawkman Book 1 by Jeff Johns. Found this for nice and cheap. Excited to read it. Hopefully, just need to find volume 2. Ugh.
You got to custom bind all the stuff with Palmiotti.
We'll see. Custom binding's a lot of work, Mike.
Yeah, but man,
a lot of research, a lot of Photoshop.
A lot of Photoshop.
I'm making my own covers, and I'm bad at Photoshop, so it's a lot of Photoshop.
Dude, your Starman cover was good.
I've gotten a decent system.
It looks like Quesada did not draw any Iron Man.
And in similar breaking news, I also got Superman Shazam First Thunder. How is this similar? It's not, but I wanted to continue. It's from Winnick and Middleton. Excited to read this. I am mostly nostalgic for that Superman Shazam Black Adam like DC short or something that came out probably 10 years ago now.
Yeah, that was a 22-minute long, basically an episode length. That was the basis on, and they put that out on the DC, like the DC animated movies, and they used to do the showcase shorts that were like 5 to 10 minutes long. They brought them back. I think the first one that brought them back was Batman Hush, and that's Sergeant Rock. So those just came back, and then on that DVD was packaged all the shorts that they did at that point.
I forgot they were bringing those back out again. But moving on with stuff I bought. This was mostly because Vince said it's all right, and I thought, why the hell not? We have Dr. Midnight from Matt Wagner and John K. Snyder III. This is I think sometime in the 90s book, and it's painted, which is kind of cool, like painted covers and all, or interiors, I mean.
Is that Matt Wagner art?
I don't believe so,
No.
but I will check. I'm pretty sure it's the Snyder the Third guy. Yeah, I don't know why I thought I could find this just flipping through the book easily, but whatever. However, continuing a trend, we also have The Demon, also by Matt Wagner. This was a 4-issue miniseries, I want to say, that may or may not have led into The Demon's ongoing, but I don't actually know. Vince will check me right as I finish talking.
No.
Thank you. Like I said, this is also by Matt Wagner. I believe he's also just writing here as well. I think Art Nichols is the one that's drawing. Definitely doesn't look like Wagner art. Yep.
No.
No, it is. Yep. Matt Wagner is penciling. Art Nichols is just the inker. Either way, excited to read this. I read through Ennis's Punisher earlier in the summer. Or not Punisher. Wow. Ennis's Demon early in the summer. So I think it'll be interesting to see a different side of that. I've also already read Jack Kirby's Demon, which I believe those 4 books are the only collected editions of the Demon that are available right now. But yeah.
Well, there's Demon Knights from the New 52.
No one counts that. That sounds like something I want to ignore.
That's a book you'd probably like, actually.
Damn.
It's basically like medieval Justice League Dark.
Shit, that does sound cool.
I'm pretty sure, is that the book where like Ray Palmer was just there?
Yeah, sort of. I searched demon and just clicked on the first result, and of course it's just for demons on Wikipedia. I just assume that everything else also revolves around comic books.
I think if you search Google enough, it'll figure out that that's all you care about. And once its AI is smart enough, it will only give you those results.
Yeah, so those are Wikipedia in their collected editions on the page does not count Demon Knights. So those are the 4 books. John Byrne's run has never been collected. I mean, it's not very great. And I feel like, wasn't there like a mini series recently? I don't know. But the Demon's cool. I think the interesting thing, if have you read the Kirby thing?
Yeah. I think maybe last year.
So the interesting thing reading a bunch of Demon is comparing how writers use or don't use and in what way they use his whole rhyming gimmick.
Well, from what I understand, the rhyming wasn't introduced until Alan Moore in Swamp Thing.
Yeah,
I believe it specifically said that he gets raised to the rank of rhymer, which is weird. At least in the Ennis run that I read, there's no other demons that rhyme except for one of them, but like he's just trying to do it. So it seems like if you just talk in rhymes, people will think you're a rhymer. But I don't know. It's very weird. It seems like you're saying, like seeing how different writers use it and use it with other demons as well. I think that's where it becomes more interesting, seeing if they actually include other rhymers. And just a quick tack on before I say popcorn and call my dad back. I also got Deadshot Beginnings. We've mentioned this.
just to not show it, I also got Deadshot Beginnings.
Like I said, it was the book of the day.
Yep.
Mine is upstairs on the shelf next to my Suicide Squad stuff.
All right. I'm going to popcorn Dan and will now be muting myself. So goodbye, friends. I will join back when I'm done.
Tell your dad to say hi.
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay, so just continuing with my pile here. Picked up Gotham Central, Volume 1, or I guess Book 1, In the Line of Fire by Ed Brubaker, Greg Rucka, and Michael Lark. So really excited to read this. Just got to get the other 3 books and I'll have the whole series. So really cool. I've heard a lot of good things about it, and after I read Daredevil's, his Brubaker, oh my god, Brubaker's Daredevil run, I can't talk tonight. I was looking for other stuff by him to read, and that's one of the things that came up. So I read it.
Michael Lark does the art on Brubaker's Daredevil, and I think
Yep.
pound for pound, it's great on Daredevil, but I think it's better in Gotham Central.
Yep. So just showing some of that right there. Just some really great art. Yeah. Really excited to read this. Can't wait.
And get destroyed and broken by Mr. Freeze.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. It's gonna be really good. I mean, I like that's the type of stuff that I'm really looking into reading. Kind of like that, all that whole motif, I guess. Next book I got here is JLA Year One. I was convinced by people that I was with to get this. This was actually half off of a $20 book, which you look at the spine. It's a pretty good deal, I would say, for 12 issues. Um, I think the reason why it's $20 is because the paper quality is not that as good, but I mean, it's not. It doesn't really affect my.
A deluxe hardcover just recently came out too, which I think the old trade paperbacks being pushed to kind of liquidate.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't really care if. I mean, the page quality doesn't really bother me on this at all. So, yeah, just a good, I guess, point to read some JLA. I have some stuff from JLA. I have like Meltzer's run and this and what else? Something else. I forget what it is, but yeah, just trying to get more involved with that. Next thing I have here, picked it up because it was $5. Is the Bob Harris classic Nick Fury Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. series. This collects the issues number 1 through 11. And boy, oh boy, am I looking forward to the novel that is Bob Harris's writing. I mean, this is I think like a year or so after, or maybe the same year as Nick Fury versus Shield, which I did read. I thought it was okay. It just was it's a slog to get through.
So slow. That's my
so
problem.
slow, but it was actually I thought it was a half decent story. But yeah, that's that. So picked up for $5. That's pretty much what I was willing to pay for it. Next thing here, Paper Girls Volume 3. I have Volume 1. Gotta get Volume 2 at this point. But yeah. Brian came on. Image. We'll see how this goes. Kind of excited. So, I guess should I just finish up or should I popcorn someone else? I think I'll popcorn. Mike, do you have anything left or no?
I have 2 books left, and I'll talk about them separately, so I can go.
Okay, popcorn.
Last of finishing out my DC stuff. This is the DC Classics Library edition of Superman Kryptonite Nevermore. I think Vince and I will talk about the quickly introduced and then quickly phased out DC Classics Library line. I know of only like 3 books that came under this banner when they tried to recollect classic stories in hardcover. But this is by Dennis O'Neil, and I believe this was like a way for them to kind of revamp Superman and get rid of kryptonite as a weakness. So he conquers kryptonite, and he's no longer weak to it. I think this also introduces Sand Superman, which was everyone's theory of what happened to the New 52 Superman when he died. It was actually that version, that Earth Sand Superman. They wanted that to be a thing. But this is kind of some wild, crazy, kooky, fun adventures, and like a pretty hard to like. I don't like. I know the other stand had a bunch of these. So like that was the most I've seen these in a long time. I think this is kind of a hard book to find. At least it is for me. Plus, a $40 book for $5. And it's a little beat up, but like condition inside's all good. So yeah, Vince, you want to quickly talk about the DC Classics Library editions?
Yeah, I don't have too much to add. It was a weird line. They had that. Really, I would say that's really the only like essential book from it.
Batman Death in the Family had one.
Yeah, but I think it was only Death in the Family, not Lonely Place of Dawn.
No, it was just Death in the Family.
And so there's Kryptonite Nevermore. The weirdest ones is there's Death in the Family, and then the other Batman ones were Batman the Annuals Volume 1 and 2.
I'm looking at the back pages here, seeing the ads for the other ones available.
And those just collected the first 7 Batman annuals, but those were entirely reprints. So it was kind of like a weird hodgepodge of 40s, 50s Batman stuff. It's kind of strange. There were 2 Justice League volumes, only collecting issues and covers that George Perez worked on. There was a Legion of Superheroes one collecting basically an abridged version of the life and death of Pharaoh Lad. And then there was Roots of the Swamp Thing, which is the first, the initial run by Len Wein and Bernie Wrightson. And you had Flash of Two Worlds, which was like a handful, basically like the first episode of, like the second episode of Crisis Cast we did. And what was supposed to be the 10th one, which was the only one canceled, and then they canceled the whole line, was going to be Shazam, The Monster Society of Evil.
The book just can never find its way to print, really.
Yeah, it would have been great if that came out. All right, who's popcorn?
Popcorn to Vince.
Okay. I'm going to try and speed this up a little bit because I feel like the way you guys are talking about what's left, I'm like way behind. So my last set of proper singles, I got Valiant issues, of course. Only 5 of them, but all 5 of these are what are referred to as pre-Unity. So Valiant, the first like a year and a half or 2 years in, they had a giant crossover called Unity. It's like 18-part crossover between like 9 titles, 2 or 3 of which launched in the crossover. There's bookend issues. It's ridiculous, but like it kind of totally works, and that's just the insane genius of Jim Shooter. And half of the crossover had connecting covers by Frank Miller, and the other half had connecting covers by, I believe, Walt Simonson. And so you could lay out all 18 on the floor and shit, and or in 3x3 grids actually. And then so Unity was like a huge deal sales wise and like promotion, like blew up in Wizard and stuff like that. So before Unity, all of the books, which there were less of them obviously, had way lower print runs and were also a lot better. So the pre-Unity stuff is the stuff that's really hard to find. And then way later, at the very end of certain books, the final issues are very hard to find because it went back down to like ridiculously low print runs. And so all 5 of these are pre-Unity, and so that was a major score for me. And as of this haul, these 5 issues, my Valiant checklist to have basically every Valiant comic book within the Valiant universe, the original 90s run, as well as several duplicates because I'm going to custom bind them and keep stories together and stuff like that. These 5 issues officially put me above 75%. And then not really single issues, but I picked up Kyle Baker's I Die at Midnight, which is kind of like a short OGN, much more his like indie style, obviously years and years away from when he was more mainstream on Spider-Man books. And this was part of the B2K initiative, which was a bunch of Vertigo stuff in the year 2000, leading up to the year 2000. Then I have Times Squared, The Epiphany by Howard Chaykin. Again, very indie OGN. Howard Chaykin, as his fans love him. I don't want to flip to certain pages because I'm not sure what kind of mature content might be in this.
I'm gonna say, watch out.
This was published by First, who also published American Flag through its run. And there were 2 books of this. There was a sequel to this. And it was a book that he always wanted to come back to, and I don't know, he just never did. At this point, he probably won't. But this is like a cult hit. If you're like Chaykin fans, talk about this. And then Treasury Size, the Herculean, and this is I heard about this only recently, and so it was cool to find it. This is an Eric Larson thingy jig, and it's supposed to be like retro superheroes, but I don't really know what it's actually about. And then,
Well, wait, it's Eric Larson, so it's going to be about violence and sex.
well, yeah, maybe based on his current soundtrack. But then there's like weird like backups in different styles without color. Let me find this. This one is really strange. Okay, well, there's multiple very strange ones. Here's like a mouse parody with Mickey Mouse, which like depending on how you read it is like totally in bad taste. And speaking of bad taste, here there are multiple pages of a feature called Reggie the Veggie, which is this disabled guy doesn't have
Good
legs,
lord!
and the first strip is here's Reggie, and it's just the same exact panel over and over. And then he has a visitor, and a fly lands on his nose and then flies away. And the gag is on all these strips, he looks exactly the same in every panel, but things change. So Reggie the Veggie Snow Day and also High Tide, he just like gets drowned in snow and water, which is very kind of depressing if you read it like that way. And then this is called The Birds. It's not going to show up very well on the webcam, but he gets shit on by birds. And then it says Fightin' Mad, and it's just a repeat of the original one where absolutely nothing happens. This is very strange, but I heard about this recently, and it's got Larson's crazy art, so it's fun for me. Then let me try and speed through DC stuff. Actually, no. Yeah, I'm gonna popcorn. I just don't want to be stuck in the end with like 40 minutes. I'm gonna popcorn to Ginger Dan.
Still on the phone.
I'm gonna popcorn to Dan.
Oh, okay. I'm so glad I'm the secondary popcorner. Okay, so I'll finish this up, my stuff up real quick. First thing I got here is Secret Wars 2. It's out of print apparently. It was $20, but I got it for the.
No, I have to interject here. My favorite part of you buying this was you kept trying to convince us and yourself like you made a smart purchase.
Well, I did because it is out of.
No, you did not.
Yes, I did. So I'm excited to read this. I've read a few things that have kind of tangentially, occurred around this era, but never actually read the actual main series. So kind of cool to see what happens. It's written by Jim Shooter, illustrated by Alan Milgram. So we'll see where Jim Shooter went wrong with that series.
It's a concept.
Yeah. Next, last 4 books here I have are 2 series, 2 trades from 2 different series. Picked up She-Hulk by Mariko Tamaki. Probably pronounced that awfully wrong. But yeah, we have volumes 2 and 3 of that run. Let Them Eat Cake and Jen Walters Must Die. So, yeah, I'm a big She-Hulk fan, so just figured I'd give this run a try and see what it's all about.
Getting the John Byrne omnibus.
Yeah, probably. Gotta have my whole She-Hulk set together. Yeah, I don't know. I really like a lot of the series I've read from her. So pumped to see she's getting her own TV show. And then lastly here before I'll finish this up real quick. Just got some Rebirth Superman, volumes 2 and 3. Junior Dan sold me this one, so shout out to him. He did give me a good deal on it since I did find it at the con for less than he was trying to sell it to me for. But appreciate
Price match him.
I price
You
matched
jerk.
it. I'm a negotiator. I'm like Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh my God! News! Ewan McGregor is getting his own TV show
Oh yeah. Why does everything sound like Red Letter Media?
because we brought up Star Wars. You said the magic words.
That is true. But that's all, my entire haul.
still got most of mine to go.
Can I leave now?
You go to you because Ginger Dan's still on the phone.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna speed through a DC stack. We've got Cover by Bendis and David Mack. This is one of his Jinx World series at DC. I've heard from some people that this is the most interesting one. And Mack is a little bit more varied in this than we usually see him. He does a few different styles. And I believe the concept of this series is that it's about the comic book industry, but certain people in the comic book industry or not in the comic book industry are also like trained assassins.
Oh yeah, one of them is Saad Ribic.
Yeah, so it's just insane, and yeah, some characters are straight up based on actual real writers and artists. So it seems like a very great concept to me. I don't know if there will be a sequel. It does say Volume 1 on it, but hopefully I like this. It seems pretty damn interesting. And then I got Batman Contagion. So now I guess I have to get 2 volumes of Legacy.
Yeah, that's what I locked myself into that too.
To read 2 outbreaks in a row, but I'm kind of at a point where, and this is kind of the trend that I do with a lot of series and characters, where it's like I'm gonna buy literally everything, and then I'll read everything, and then I'll cut the stuff I don't care as much about. So that's what kind of where I'm at with like 90s through Flashpoint Batman. Well, really like post-Crisis Batman.
I'm wondering how much of the '90s stuff you're going to keep.
And then an oddball pick, I got Creature Commandos. I kind of forgot this was collected, but this was a feature in Weird War Tales, initially by James DeMatteis, and then I think Bob Kanigher does some stuff, and art by Fred Carrillo and Jerry Ordway, apparently. I don't know how much Ordway. But this, it's basically, you know how actually Marvel kind of ripped this off post Secret Wars, where they had a Howling Commandos book, but with like monster characters. In fact, I think Marvel had done that before in the 2000s, Keith Giffen. But both of those are a ripoff of this feature, which I think goes back to like the mid 70s or something. I don't know how, what the hell my reaction to this is going to be, but it's like mid 70s DC Comics, which monsters and war combined. So at the very least, it should be a very fun first read, and then we'll see if I throw it out the window. Demon.
Books you don't throw them out your window?
What?
Do you just throw books out your window? You're like, take this, street.
No. And then I've got one of Garth Ennis's Demon books. This is volume 1. I already had volume 2, so there's that run. As mentioned, Deadshot. Nothing to say there. I got the Flash Rebirth volume 1. I have like oddly like volume 3 or 4 or something like that. And we've been reading this series like 70 issues from this point on our weekly review show. And I really enjoy it those 70 issues later. And the initial artist, Carmine Domenico, is pretty darn interesting. So I'll probably enjoy this and probably continue to track down more of the series. Finally, years later, I got Manhunter Volume 5 by Mark Andreyko, finishing the run on this character. Really underrated title, really underrated character. This character, Manhunter Kate Spencer, had some appearances in like a backup in Batman Streets of Gotham after this, which were not collected. So that's really annoying. The artist on this volume is Gaydos. What's his first name?
Really? Michael Gaydos.
Michael Gaydos. Yeah, so that's interesting. And speaking of good art, here we have Wonder Woman by Mike Deodato. His name, very prominent, only name on the spine. This really should be called like Wonder Woman by Bill Messner-Loeb's Volume 2 or 3, but whatever. This is a big chunk. I mean, it's a pretty thick book of 90s Wonder Woman, collecting Wonder Woman 90 to 100, number 0, and some other ancillary stuff. This is the whole Artemis arc with the contest arc and obviously
The
Diodato
hot
arc.
pants era.
Yeah, she's got pants and a leather jacket while Artemis kind of takes over the role for a little bit. And so this is
A little bit. It's like 3 issues, isn't it?
Yeah, this is a love it or hate it era for the character, but I'm a 90s fake nostalgia apologist, so it should be very fun for me. And how much do other people have?
I have 1 book.
I have nothing.
I have 5.
All right, then I'm gonna popcorn it, Dan.
All right. Going back to earlier in the podcast, we have some Green Arrow. This is Volume 4 of the Rebirth run by the original author Ben Percy, Rise of Star City. I really enjoyed the first 3 volumes. I'm really excited to get this one and eventually get 5, which, if I remember correctly, is the Hard Traveling Hero Redux. So, super excited to continue with this. Really like Green Arrow. Continuing with Green Arrow, I found this book that I never heard of for $5. It's Connor Hawke, Dragon's Blood. It's by Chuck Dixon and Derek Donovan. I think it's from like 2008 or something is when the original series happened. I think it's a 6-issue mini of some sort. Connor basically goes to like an archery competition or another and then finds Shadow or Shado, whatever you want to say there. And I don't know, Green Arrow bullshittery happens. Mostly just got it because there's not a whole lot of Connor stuff out there, and I'm interested in trying to read more of them from what little I've read in various like old Kyle Rayner trades and a bit of the old Justice League from Morrison era where Connor's in it for like all of 2 issues. But super excited about that. I also got Convergence Infinite Earths Book 2 because it has the Captain Marvel, as you can see on the cover, those 2 issues, which I've only ever heard good things about, and have, in the very little amount of time I was looking for them just out in the wild, just the single issues on their own, I could never find them. It also collects Blue Beetle Convergence issues, Booster Gold Convergence issues, and then Crime Syndicate and Plastic Man and the Freedom Fighters, and with the rest of them, I thought it'd be interesting enough that I'll probably like or at least enjoy reading the other ones. So excited to read this and nothing else from Convergence ever. So I think it'll be a good time.
Booster Gold is pretty good, from what I can remember.
At the behest of, I think Mike, maybe it was Vince, I forget. I got the Adventures of Superman by Gil Kane.
Yeah.
Which, if I remember correctly, this is basically like the Legends of the Dark Knight or Tales of the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
I
There's
can never
Legends
remember
of Tales of the Batman.
That's
it's
right.
Essentially the same line, though.
Yeah, and so this is basically an art book, and from what I can tell, it collects more or less random issues that Gil Kane drew. But yeah, it definitely looks like a good book. I think I'll enjoy it. I've been getting more and more into Superman as I continue to read comics, which kind of says something because I was already into Superman. But it's really nice to have some more like older Superman, you know. And then for the final book, we have this hardcover that I got for I think half off. Batman: The Black Mirror.
I didn't even see you pick it up. Where'd you?
Yeah, you weren't with me when I did that. Actually, I don't think anyone was, because I think Vince was there for a little bit, and then I was looking at action figures for too long, and he went to dive headfirst into a long box somewhere.
Okay.
But yeah, got The Black Mirror from Scott Snyder, Jock, and Francisco Francavilla.
It's Snyder's best run on Batman.
That's what you always tell me, so I can't wait to see, even though I haven't read any other Snyder Batman. And then, kind of segueing into that, I think I mentioned I was looking at figures for a while. I did buy one. I got John Stewart. He has a fist and a gun, as he does. So yeah, I think that'll look good whenever I finish my Mosaic custom bind.
But you don't have the Mosaic John Stewart figure.
I didn't like how he looked as much. I will say, though, there was also a chip there, and I was really tempted to buy him as well, but I didn't know how much he was, and I didn't want to spend like $30-$40.
$30 on a chip.
John Stewart and a chip, because the chip is literally there just for shits and giggles. All right, that is everything. And with that, I popcorn to. Vince is the only one with things left.
I have one thing left.
We'll go with Vince then, because this is
So-
going to take a bit.
I got the Amazing Spider-Man Venom Epic Collection. Obvious title. There's a great Todd Father homage cover
Wait a
on
minute.
it.
Did you get this at the show, or was I swear you showed that off already?
I showed it off.
No, it was at the show.
Okay.
I bought it in Boston last week or the week before.
Okay. All right. I was like, we've seen this before.
And then here's that iconic page. So I'm excited. I'm a madman, so I would love to have like pretty much everything Spider-Man from like 1982 through the Clone Saga.
You have that.
And I'm pretty close for the stuff that is actually available, but there's annoying gaps. And then to finish my Marvel set, I got the Jungle Adventures. The Jungle Adventure Marvel Masterwork Volume 3, completing the set of 3. And this is a great example of like I bought these 3 books, and I'll probably get rid of them eventually. But it's a fascinating little genre and era for me, and we'll see what I think. Marvel, not the best jungle action books, besides when Black Panther is in jungle action. But that will be for me to judge later. And then I'll kick it to Mike, and then I'll close this off with stuff that I've gotten since the con, because I can't put the pipe down.
It's only been like 4 days.
No, it's been like, yeah, sort of. Well, I went to my store today, so
Okay.
some of it.
So, all right, you guys know I've been looking for this book for like over a year and finally found it at the local store in State College. And then I bought it for full price, but it was all mangled and had a bent up cover. So I found it in a $5 box. It's Doctor Strange, Doctor Doom, Triumph, and Torment. So I bought it again because it's in much nicer condition. So it's something I've already shown off before on the show.
Cool.
So now I'm stuck with 2 versions of this, so I got to get rid of one of them.
All right. I will close things off. So I actually made it sound weirder than it is, but it's still kind of weird. So this, I got Batman by Doug Monk and Kelly Jones, Volume 2. This is actually a belated birthday gift from my brother. If you remember, at probably our last fall segment, it was following my birthday. So this is just an extension of that. I did
I
not.
thought you were saying if you remember that we had a brother, like we do, but
And then on Amazon, for some reason, Silver Age Flash Omnibus Volume 3 was pretty darn cheap. I'm not sure if it still is. If you're watching this, go Google that. And so I ordered that, and this is probably the final Silver Age volume for the Flash, written by, who's his name? But the art, the main, it's written by all kinds of people: John Broome, Gardner Fox, Bob Kanigher, etc., etc. But the art for much of this book is still Carmine Infantino, like all the way this later in his run. And then towards the very end, the art is by Ross Andrew, known for his Spider-Man stuff. And so this volume covers from 1966 through 1970. And I have the previous 2 volumes also. Check out. It's kind of a shame that they're cropped. I don't think they put the full cover in the back anywhere. Let me check. Yeah, I don't. No, they don't. I don't know that the full cover is in these books anywhere, because they do crop it for the design, but a beautiful cover by Doc Shaner.
I think there's an unmarked logo on his Twitter page probably somewhere.
Yeah, he usually posts the uncropped ones online. But it's kind of strange to not have them in these books. But this, I have the 2 previous volumes. So again, that should be all of Silver Age Flash because it goes up to 1970. So that's 14 years of Flash in a row across 3 books, which is kind of crazy. And almost all of it drawn by Carmine Infantino. I mean, some would possibly argue there's a definitive Flash artist of all time to this day, no matter which Flash.
Greg LaRoche.
That's very contentious. And it was really, really cool to get this for like pretty. I mean, it's not like it was an insane, like glitchy price, but at the price that it was at, I couldn't turn it down. And so that's very exciting. And then, they'd need another 3+ for the Bronze Age. And then I went to my local shop today, and to finally close things out for me, they had a bunch of like Gen 13 related stuff in the sales bin. And I was like, I don't know, that's kind of weird, but picked up whatever this is, Gen 13 London, New York Hell. And I think this is like 2 one-shots, both by Warren Ellis. Or no, maybe it's just one. No, it's a 2-issue miniseries by Warren Ellis and Steve Dillon on Gen 13.
What?
Very strange. And then, more interesting to me is this. So this is very strange. So when Gen 13 got to number 13, usually a comic, they get to a number 25, a number 50, number 100, they do a big deal. Gen 13, when it got to number 13, it was a big deal. And they had 13A, 13B, and 13C. So this, even though it's still thin, is a trade of the 3 versions of 13. But it's really like, it should have just been 13, 14, 15. I don't know how it works. But the very strange thing here, and this is drawn by J. Scott Campbell still, but the very strange thing here is that somehow Jim Lee managed like the most insane crossover ever, because literally like ridiculous characters appear in this, and in the back you see some of that, like a credits page essentially. So the Archie characters are in this issue, Hellboy and Art Adams, Monkey Man, and O'Brien. Have any of you ever heard of the person Anthony Robbins, who's like a infomercials / actor guy? He's not even related to comics. He's in this. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Madman, Bone, Billy Tucci's She, Kachu, and Francine from Strangers in Paradise.
So this is like a crossover that can never happen again.
No, especially as I keep going. Larry Martyrs Bean World, Wolverine, Spawn, and the Max. I honestly didn't know that like all the characters were in this. There would be like, this would be licensing corporate lawyer like hell. And they mess around with the style. I mean, there's the Archie sequence, and there's the Turtles. I don't know, this is crazy. And actually, and both of these books, even though they're very thin trade type things, both of these were $3.99, so the price of a current comic book. And for that, even though maybe it's dated J. Scott Campbell art and Gen 13 stuff that I don't ultimately care that much about, I thought that was a pretty cool find. There was some other Gen 13 crap. Like there was like a trade of like Adam Warren's run, and there was other stuff, but I passed on it. So I think, does that cover everything?
I believe it.
I think it
does.
So that is our Keystone Comic Con 2019 hauls, plus some extras, almost as long as one of our weekly review shows. So thankfully, we did not have this as
on the show this week. We definitely have our show.
But also our show this week is probably going to be this long or longer. So strap in, folks.
We have a lot of books.
Yeah, I hope you guys have fun with that.
We're gonna
Yeah,
soldier
that
on.
show's probably going to be recorded Friday.
So all of our loyal fans, you can look forward to that stream popping up in your softbox.
I like how you say fans plural, like we have more than one.
Thanks
Slash
for
have
watching.
any.
Thanks for watching this, and we'll see you next time.